You ever seen an old cop who let himself go? Yeah, you know the type. Beer gut, cargo shorts, always talking about back in my day. Don't be that guy, because that badge, that's temporary. But the fight, that's for life. This is the Good Leader Podcast with John Martinez, and today we're talking about staying dangerous after the badge. Why fitness is more important now than ever. And how to avoid becoming a walking dad joke with a holster full of regrets. John, let's kick this off. You've seen this firsthand. What happens when you hang it up and let themselves go?
This whole topic came up because one of my friends actually messaged me about going over this topic with fitness and law enforcement, and then also people a lot have asked me about life after law enforcement. And I think it's an important thing that goes along with just being like a man. Some of the facts I looked up was that over 80% of men over 40 decline in energy and physical health, and that's preventable by just being active and doing physical fitness. And a lot of that, I think, comes from the lack of purpose. I think even when you are in law enforcement, if you kind of, to me, what I call it, retired on duty, like you're basically a cop, but you're not really pursuing things, and you're not out there being a street goon or whatever you want to call it and being active, you kind of lost your purpose. You don't feel the need to work out. Then after law enforcement, people that retire, I think in that state, then also it's easy for them to fall into not working out and just becoming kind of a statistic of those people that end up passing away when they retire. And I've seen that too. I've seen guys that retire and they maybe last a couple years of just, hanging around bullshitting, and then they end up passing away. And I think it all comes down to not having that purpose, and also not taking care of themselves and bringing over all those bad habits that they had from when they were police officers. And I think it's when men stop challenging themselves physically, they lose testosterone, they lose grit, they lose their edge. So they basically become almost, I want to say, not a shell of themselves, but like somewhat of a shell of themselves. They're not their best self. So obviously it's easy to then become very demotivated, and that can just snowball into other things. And I think that's how you run into all these things of guys just not having I guess the desire, not that even the desire, the discipline to work out and, continue to pursue physical fitness during and after law enforcement, I would say.
Exactly. And it's not just about being strong for the job. It's about showing your family what capable looks like, even when no one's watching. You've trained with guys who are beasts on the job. But what about those who lost their fire post-retirement? Got a story or two that comes to mind here?
I would say that I think a lot of guys, if you were to take away the badge and the uniform from them, they would lose that fire and that desire to work out and to seek purpose and to do things of that nature. As far as personally, yeah, I've seen guys that just kind of, once they're out of the uniform, some guys, they're fine. Some guys, it's like what they've been waiting for, because they practically weren't doing shit as cops anyways. Or they weren't happy being cops. So it's like, so the shoe fits. Other guys, if it's their whole identity, then yes, they're going to definitely struggle with no longer being part of that community or whatever you want to call it. So it just really depends. But from what I've seen, yeah, I've seen guys that, can't, even recently, a guy told me about a guy that retired, but then also was coming back to, visiting, the station right after, this is maybe a week or two into his retirement. So I don't know, that tells me it's like, hey, you probably haven't really thought about what you're going to do after your retirement. If you're immediately visiting work after retiring, that's just kind of how I look at it. It's not a knock on that person, and just more of a, hey, you need to have some ambition past the job, and what are you going to do, past the job. And I think that's why it's important to understand, you're a father, you're a brother, you're a dad, you're a husband, your boyfriend, whatever you are beyond just the badge. The badge shouldn't make you as a man. I've said this over and over, the man makes the badges. The badges don't make the man. So yeah, it's an important thing that I don't think we talk about too much.
Man, that's powerful. And it's a wake-up call, because this isn't just about the past, it's about what's still at stake. Let's keep going. Fitness is a survival skill in law enforcement and beyond. The average officer gains 20 to 25 pounds in the 5 years after retirement. That's not weight, that's rust. And life, it still keeps swinging. So, John, how do you coach guys to shift their mindset from I'm off duty to I still need to stay ready?
I think the easiest way to keep yourself in the fight is to give yourself new challenges. One of the first things like my job now is not in the law enforcement industry. So I think having to go into a different industry was a new challenge for me, and to learn new things. But that's what I know I needed, because I just know I'm that type of person. I need something to feel challenging to me. Starting the Good Leader podcast, the Good Leader brand, doing stuff on social media, those were all things that I wasn't doing that I needed to do because I needed a new challenge. So once it gives me something to figure out, it gives me something like a problem to solve, it gives me something to like, hey, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna see how this goes. And it becomes a new, a new purpose for me to strive for. So I think that's the same thing that, you have to do. You have to find yourself in a new purpose. And I really think that comes through me personally. I believe that comes through service, like service to other people. Like, what are you bringing to other people? Because I can tell for myself, from doing the podcast and posting the things that I post on Instagram, I always have a lot of people that will talk to me about, people will send me law enforcement videos. People will ask me about the academy. They'll ask me about physical fitness. They'll ask me about my experiences. They'll ask me all kinds of stuff, and even in person. And I feel like it's because I think that's, to me, I feel like, hey, maybe that's, my calling now is to kind of say, hey, this is my experiences. How can I help you? And that's become my new purpose. That's what keeps me driven and going, is helping other people. It's not really so much about me. I think it'd actually be, I want to say, easier if I just were like to say, I'm gonna just work, do my own shit and not really help anyone. But I feel like I've gone through a lot of experiences and I want to help and share those with other people to help, hopefully, make them have a better experience, or learn from my mistakes, or do, if I did something good, do it better. And if I did something wrong, then don't do that. That's it. So that's become my new, that's my new way of, sharpening my sword.
Yeah, that readiness mindset doesn't clock out. The threats just change. Heart disease, depression, loss of identity, still deadly. Why do you think so many guys don't take those internal threats seriously until it's too late?
I think because if I had to say why they don't take it seriously, I think sometimes they just either don't care, or they just think it's never going to happen to them. Or some people, maybe they do want it to happen to them. I think some guys don't, they stop caring. I think one of the things I've been talking about lately is a lot of time when people are on a somewhat like a crash out mission. And when I'm saying like a crash out mission is, I mean, they don't care about their life. They don't care about their well-being. They're not happy with their situation. So, misery loves company. So they're going to start trying to drag other people into what they're doing. And I think that's where, our message with the Good Leader podcast and the Good Leader brand is a lot different than other people's message. Because I could sit here and talk shit all day long. I could sit here and, make fun of people and I think I'm a pretty funny person. I think anyone that's talked to me in person knows I think I can hang with the best of when it comes to talking shit. But I think, a lot of them have kind of like, I think they've given up on themselves, and they start, they just end up just spiraling out of control. And when you're like that, misery loves the company, like I said before. So they want other people to feel that same type of misery. And that's kind of what I mean sometimes when people are like doom scrolling or whatever you call it, and everything they look at is, negative. And I think, to me, for the brand and a lot of what I'm pushing is almost like opposite of that. It's more like, I want to say it's to, I don't want to say hopeful, because I like the way Jim Carrey says it, like hope is a beggar and faith is fearless. I think it's more like I have faith in my vision. I have faith in the things that I believe in. I have faith in my message, and I'm not one of those people that's easily swayed from what I believe in and what I see. So I see a lot of those people that are doing that, I just see it's like their own insecurities kind of playing out more in the public eye when they're trying to spread a negative message.
Right. And the mission as well has to evolve if you want to stay in the game, which leads us straight to this next point. Life after the badge, the silent fight. Let's talk about what no one trains you for. Retirement. The badge comes off and the silence sets in, and no more calls, no more radio, no more uniform. And for a lot of guys, that quiet becomes dangerous. John, how do you help them navigate that loss of structure and purpose?
I think one is, this is just the order of things that I would say for people. My career was never first for me. The people that I love were first, and my faith. And I'm probably third about that. Like, I care less about myself than I do about the people that I love, and what I believe in, and then myself. My career probably came after that. So I think if your priorities are, hey, my career and the most important thing to you is being a cop and nothing comes above that, I think you're already setting yourself up to eventually fail one day. Because at the end of the day, this is how I see it is, your buddies at work aren't gonna be in bed hugging you when you're tired or sad. Your kids are gonna be the ones that, give you a hug when you're having a bad day. The people that you love are gonna be the ones that encourage you. So I think it's that priority of things. And if your priority is always work first and everything else second, then when they take away that work, or whether you retire, whether you leave, whether something happens, whatever the case may be, now you've kind of lost your sole purpose for doing things, and you're already on the back foot, and you're already kind of in a bad place. And I like one of the facts that studies show retired officers have a higher risk of depression, alcoholism, and physical decline. And I think that all stems from that. It stems from not having a plan. And I don't mean having a money plan. Money doesn't make people happy. I don't know how many celebrities are gonna have to prove that. Like, these dudes have all the money in the world and will drink themselves to death, hang themselves, fucking do everything possible to destroy their lives. It's not money. Ultimately I think purpose, having people that love you and that you love, that you care about, and also having I think feeling that you're still valued, that there's some value that you're bringing to this world, is ultimately what makes people happy. So I think, without that, then it's going to just be a lot of officers are going to repeat in that same cycle. So hopefully by us talking about it, we get that, that message out there to, don't put all your eggs in one basket per se for your uniform. And that goes for anything, like any job. It doesn't have to be a cop. It could be a nurse, a firefighter, the military, whatever. Stop identifying as your uniform. You're more than a uniform. You're a person. So identify with that first, and that should make you a better person in that uniform.
Yeah, that's the part that nobody tells you. You spent 20 years surviving crackheads and Karens, and now the biggest threat is a recliner and a six-pack of excuses. Let's talk about what to do next. From warrior to leader, your next mission. Retirement doesn't mean you're done. It means you're repurposed. You're still a weapon, still a mentor, still a man on a mission. John, how do you reframe that mission for guys after law enforcement? What should they aim for now?
I think, like I said before, service. Like, what value can you bring to the people around you? I think when you start trying to help the people around you, and without caring about what you're gonna get out of it, good things will come out of it. That's the only way I can say it. Like, you have to make it less about you and more about what can you do to serve other people. Because I think when you're just doing things for yourself, I think that's a very I want to say a narrow path, but it can lose its appeal real quick. Like, once you get the things that you want. But I think when you have a purpose and a mission and things that you're trying to do and a change that you're trying to make, I think when you're having those bad days or those moments, that's going to be the thing that pushes you and that makes you want to go and makes you want to continue in your pursuit of things. Like, honestly, even doing the podcast and the Good Leader brand and doing things like that, like today where it was a busy day working, and I'm sure the same for you, Miguel, also, like working, doing the podcast, you feel more, I would guess, responsible. Like I said, I'm gonna do this and I gotta do this. And it's easy to have that feeling of like, oh, well, I had a long day today. I don't want to do this, or I don't want to. And I think in my mind, I've learned to, not that I don't ever hear that voice or those voices in my head saying that. I think I've learned to just tune them down so low that my purpose of trying to make change and bring value to people and hopefully help other people and push this more, like, I don't want to say, for men to stop, realize that we're stronger than we think we are. And you can bring value coming from any career field, and your life experiences can help other people. They could help you. Sometimes talking about the shit you go through helps other people, and people need to realize that, like, you're not you don't need someone to tell you that you're important. You just need to believe that you are important. And so I think that's, for me, that's what I would say. It's like, what can you do to help other people, and not so much about helping yourself. I think if you're just looking for that constantly, like, where can I go to make more money? Where can I go to, to get more girls? Like, where can I do it? Like, that's not going to really do it. I think all that stuff is going to be residual outcomes of you helping other people. I think the things that you want, will come if you put yourself on the right path in the right direction.
Absolutely. The uniform might be off, but the responsibility is not. Mm-hmm. What's the shift you see in guys who fully embrace that mindset, who go from surviving to leading again?
I would say, like, right now, what I see on like for social media, I think there's the group of guys like Hector Bravo, the I guy just did his podcast. Guys like you, Miguel, doing the podcast and then the stuff over here in Paso. There's a couple other people I think that are really on a different type of mission to be like, to kind of talk about things that no one's really talking about, and not in this bravado kind of I don't want to say bullshit way, but like, we're not sitting here trading like war stories. It's more like, hey, we know everyone's done different shit. We all gone through different things. So now what can we do as men beyond that? Like, what is our mission beyond all this? And I think that's really what it looks like. It looks like men or women that are putting themselves out there to talk about not necessarily easy subjects. Like, I've seen guys talk about mental health, what are the pros and cons of certain jobs, whether it be law enforcement, firefighter, nurses, what are the construction workers, being a business owner, what are the pros and cons, not just this highlight reel of all the fucking wins and then telling you none of the stuff that comes along with it. And also, I think people have seen it. If all you're ever showing is your successes, oh, look at me, how great I am. And it's like a social media relationship where you see them like, hey, they look great and it looks great on paper or it looks great in pictures, but that's not really what it is. And I think sometimes it's just a little bit more honesty to be like, hey, we're all human, we're all imperfect, we're all gonna have good and bad days, successes and losses, all that stuff. It's how you deal with it and how that will ultimately, defines that person that you make up, and not following along with this crowd of people that are just eager to either tear people down or to walk around like their shit don't stink when that isn't the truth. So I think that's I guess that's what it looks like. It looks like to me, a change is coming.
Yeah, and that's the difference between fading out and stepping up. Let's give the guys listening something tactical they can use right now. The Good Leader Stay Ready Blueprint. And you shared this with me, so I'll say it out loud and then you can add to it if you want. So here's the Stay Ready Blueprint. Simple but non-negotiable. Move every day, walk, lift, stretch, fight something. Learn every day, read, podcast, sharpen a skill. Lead every day, mentor, father, show up for the brotherhood. John, what would you add to the list? What's your non-negotiable when it comes to staying dangerous?
I would say my non-negotiable is, I would say for me personally, it's always been working out. Working out is the thing that helps me set the tone for the day. But I work out because I want to have the energy to do the things that I need to do, and those things are take care of my daughters, take care of the people I love, be able to protect and provide for them. So that's my non-negotiable, because I feel like it's almost like the plane thing of being on a plane, right? If I can't help myself, how can I help anyone else? So I feel like I'm always trying to be the best version of myself, and that allows me to help other people and allows me to do the things that I'm doing. So definitely working out.
That's gold, man. And for anyone listening, it's not about perfection. It's about repetition. Show up every day like it matters, because it does. Let's bring this home. You can hang up the badge, but you can't hang up being a man. Stay in the fight, stay dangerous, stay in shape, or stay forgotten. That's the quote for today. This has been the Good Leader Podcast with John Martinez. Don't just survive after the badge, lead harder. We'll see you next time.